Are you suffering from chronic constipation? It's one of the common complaints I see in my daily medical gastroenterology practice. If your stools are hard or dry and you're passing small amounts like small pebbles, is your stool passage very painful? Are you sitting in the toilet for longer period of time, putting a lot of pressure? Are you having to use fingers to help evacuate the stool? Then you are suffering from chronic constipation. In this video, you will get all the answers to fix your problem. So what causes chronic constipation? Well, it may well be just your lifestyle. Are you getting enough fiber in the diet? Are you getting enough water? Are you exercising every day? Is your daily routine keeps changing? You are sleeping at different times. Is there a lot of stress? Are you resisting the urge to go? Because some people, when they want to pass stool, they will always ensure that they only want to go and do it in their own house or in a very familiar atmosphere. So by repeatedly ignoring the signal to pass motion, you might be developing something called habitual constipation. So these are lifestyle issues. Are you on certain medicines which might be causing the constipation? For example, there might be iron tablets. You might be on strong painkillers. You might be on certain medicines for blood pressure, or you might be taking certain supplements containing iron or calcium supplements. Is it that you have a medical condition that may not have been diagnosed, like an underactive thyroid, a condition where there is higher levels of calcium in the blood, or you might have diabetes that might also be slowing down your gut? Can you develop other health problems, complications from chronic constipation? If it has been going on for months to years, there are certain complications that you may end up with. One, the swollen veins in the bottom, in the anal area, what we call as hemorrhoids, or commonly known as piles, where you might get frequent bleeding or anal irritation. Because of repeated passage of hard stools, sometimes that can create a small cut, what we call as a fissure, and this can be sometimes chronic, where it might require a small surgery to rectify the problem. By repetitively putting a lot of pressure and straining, you might be damaging the pelvic floor muscles, which can also affect your urinary bladder, causing sometimes lack of control in the urine, or sometimes part of your intestine, the last part, what we call as rectum, might be prolapsing. It might come out, having to push with finger back in. You might also develop ulcers in the colon, in the rectum, because of hard impacted stool. So these are certain complications that one can expect. When should you consult a medical gastroenterologist with constipation? If your symptoms of constipation is not getting resolved by making changes to your lifestyle with the diet, water intake and others, and if it is getting worse and worse, you should consult, especially if you're aged 40 and above, because sometimes there can be a development of growth in the colon which might be preventing the stool coming out, what we call as colon cancer. If you're seeing blood frequently, especially if you're not straining and then passing blood, you should not ignore this. If you're losing weight without trying, if you're getting repeated attacks of abdominal pain, if your abdomen, if your belly is getting more and more distended day by day, if your blood count, your hemoglobin levels are going down, then you should definitely consult a medical gastroenterologist. What foods you should avoid in getting rid of constipation? Foods that have got high amount of fat, because this can take longer to go through our gut and it slows down the digestion. They have very little or no fiber. If you are consuming bakery products frequently, because they have refined flour, which is maida, and also sugar, so try and keep it to minimal or avoid if you can. If you're taking processed foods frequently, like pizzas, pastas, and outside foods, if you're eating frequently, you will not be consuming enough fiber, because these foods also have high amount of salt, fat that can also slow down your digestion. If you are taking a lot of packaged foods like fries, crisps, and these kind of packaged products, there will be little or no fiber. In some people, they're taking even too much of dairy products like milk and paneer can also affect and cause constipation. So it might be worth trying to cutting it down. If you're a non-veg lover, try and reduce the amount of non-veg intake to once or twice a week, because consuming too much of protein can also contribute to constipation. How can naturally you can fix the problem of chronic constipation? Eating a good amount of fiber in the diet. Fiber comes as insoluble and soluble fiber. Insoluble fiber is, for example, skins of various fruits that adds roughage, bulk to the stool, makes the stool heavy, so it's a bit easier for the colon to push. Soluble fiber, basically that dissolves in water to form a gel, so it acts like a stool softener. You can take any amount of cucumbers, carrots, radish. These are all easily digestible fiber. Year round you get fruits like papaya, which has got an enzyme called papain that helps in digestion, bananas and guava. These are fantastic in terms of fiber. You can add flax seeds, chia seeds, and this can be for breakfast or dinner. You need to ensure that you're taking a good mixture of whole grain foods. So don't just rely on eating rice, because most of the rice is polished rice, so there is very little fiber in it. So try and have a mixture of wheat, ragi, oats, quinoa. So you can kind of alternate on different days with different carbohydrates. Try and ensure that your water intake is at least 3 liters, because our large intestine, the receptors in the colon has to draw water from our body. So if you are already short of water, then the constipation problem can get worse. So ensure that you're drinking throughout the day at least 8 glasses of water in a day. Ensure that there is a good amount of fermented foods, for example, having idli, dosa, dokla or kanji. Have a cup of curd every day. If you don't like curd, have a couple of glasses of buttermilk, because this is fantastic for improving the gut's good bacteria. And finally, exercise is must to improve constipation, to allow the colon to clear properly. You need to ensure that you are exercising half an hour to 45 minutes daily, at least 5 days a week, because if you are leading a sedentary life, if you slow down or if you are lazy, your colon, the large intestine, also becomes lazy.